Las Vegas is a marketing machine, and if you're a local business owner, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can learn, apply it to your business, and maybe make the kind of money that Vegas does. From casinos to $1,000 stakes, Las Vegas understands human psychology at a deep level. Let's dig into what they're doing and how you can profit from it. Vegas is more than a tourist hotspot. It's a very polarizing place. I recently went to Vegas. I can usually only handle it for like 24 hours and I want to get out of there because there's a lot of dark parts to it, right? Obviously, people lose their life savings. They get divorced, or maybe they get married by an Elvis Presley impersonator. I don't know. Some bad decisions happen in Vegas, but it's also this experiential, unbelievable place with shows. And really, Las Vegas is designed to be an experience. The product, if you're gonna label Las Vegas as a city as having a single product, is experience. It makes people feel like celebrities and VIPs, even if they're not. You might be gambling money that you can't afford to lose, but you feel like a high roller, even if you're not. And they're really managing the way that you feel in really complex ways. And if you have a small business owner, you can do the same thing, because the reason they make so much money is because of the principle of managing feelings with their customers. And you can embed that and inject that more into your business, even if you have a small diner or you're a carpet cleaner from Wichita. So my wife and I attended a business conference with Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels. It was amazing. Thank you, Russell. Everything you do is amazing. And we stayed at the Fontainebleau, which is this really fancy hotel. It's a newer hotel in Vegas. And because I know that marketing is everything and everything is marketing, and I can't turn my brain off because I can see it everywhere like Rain Man. Everything's a frame and a pre-frame and a seed and a future pace. And there's always something you're being pulled towards or pushed towards with everything, whether it's parenting or dating or business. Vegas is like a masterclass for it, and I love that part of it. Whether it's the architecture of the casino and the way the walls are curved and the patterns on the carpet that disrupt your sense of direction, the fact that there's no windows in the casino so you can't tell if it's day or night, is it 3 a.m., is it 2 p.m.? They don't want you to think about that. They don't have clocks on the walls, there's dinging lights and clinking sounds, and there's people screaming at the craps table. There's so much happening. One of the first things we did was we had a date night. So we got to this event at the Fontainebleau, which is beautiful, as you can see from some of these pictures and stuff. Ashlee and I wanted to go get a nice steak. So we went to this steak. What was the name of the steak place?
Poppy's Steak.
Poppy's Steak. Okay, my beautiful wife's right here. We went to Poppy's Steak. It was expensive, okay? If you go to a restaurant and the bathroom has an attendant that like cleans the toilet and does the things and gives you a mint, it's usually a pretty, Chick-fil-A doesn't have a bathroom attendant, right? So anyway, we're there, and the first thing I noticed when we opened the menu is price anchoring. So at Poppy's Steak, when you look at their selection of steaks, the first one prominently displayed at the top of the menu is $1,000. Dollars. $1,000 for a piece of meat. Now, if you want to have a masterclass in marketing, try to figure out how to sell a steak for $1,000. Now, the steak aficionados out there are going to make the argument of, the Wagyu and the fancy beer-fed cows that are massaged on a mountaintop that's perfect snowy temperature to keep their meat perfect. This is all marketing. Doesn't mean that it doesn't actually taste better. But if you take a regular steak and an expensive steak, let's say that there's a 100% difference in the quality of the piece of meat itself. It's this much better with its softness and its texture and the marbling. But what's interesting is the price might be 50 times more, right? And the delta between the 50 times higher price and the actual difference in quality is where marketing comes in. So how do you sell a $1,000 steak? Well, Poppy's called it the beef case, which I don't love that name, but it's working for them, because as we were looking at the menu, someone ordered one. And the first lesson is, how do your customers even know that you have an expensive thing for sale in the first place? Because if you have an expensive thing for sale in the first place, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good unless people know that it exists. Well, we hadn't even picked our menu item yet, and we see 15 servers walk out holding this giant tray with this case with this $1,000 steak in it, singing a song. The DJ in the restaurant cranks the music to a specific song. Lights start flickering. People are screaming. They have flames and sparks flying out of stuff. There's just a lot happening. And they do this elaborate show that all of the patrons can watch. And of course, the next thing that happens is all of us ask, what was that? What was that? Maybe I want that. Oh, that's our prestigious beef case, sir. And he points to the menu, right? So the lesson is partially price anchoring, which is putting your most expensive thing that you have for sale at the top of the menu, or in your case, at the top of your brochure, or if you give in-person pricing, explaining the most expensive thing first and then walking backwards. And that's a lesson I've talked about on this channel because it's really powerful and it will make you more money immediately if you start doing it. The other lesson is just letting everyone else know that this offer exists in general. Maybe you're doing a job for a client. How do their neighbors know that you're there doing something? One of my former business partners, Brandon Vaughn, had a really clever tip that kind of does the same thing. When he would go to pressure wash a house with his company, he would have his sales guy knock on all the doors, 5, 10, 15 doors around the customer that they're working at's house, and he would apologize in advance for any inconvenience caused by the noise or any smells they might smell because they're performing a sanitization service at this house over here. And that was the foot in the door logical justification to let them know, hey, we're doing really cool cleaning stuff over there. We just want to let you know. We're not selling anything. This is a courtesy knock to let you know if you smell anything, it's just proprietary blend of our detergents and it's going to kill mold and mildew and bacteria. It's totally safe. We have professionally trained licensed technicians. If you have any questions, I'm your point person. I just felt it was my moral obligation to let you know what was going on, right? That's kind of like Poppy's steak, isn't it? You know, you're letting other people know of what's going on. It's a pretty valuable lesson. Oh, and by the way, Poppy's had a $4,000 dessert because they put some fancy liquor from, I don't know, Blackbeard Pirate's treasure chest or something. I don't know where it came from, but they had a $4,000 dessert. Can you imagine paying $4,000 for a dessert? The lesson isn't that they're making all their money from the $4,000 dessert. What's really happening is people are very satisfied buying $200 steaks because they're surrounded by $4,000 desserts and $1,000 beef cases. After we leave this Poppy's steak, we're walking through the Fontainebleau and we notice there's a store inside there that does mobile IVs. Well, not mobile IVs, just IVs. These are popping up all over the place. You pay money and they stick a needle in your arm and drip an IV into you, and it's full of nutrients and botanicals. And do humans take botanicals or is that for plants? I don't know what I'm talking about. But they put stuff in there. So people get a hangover, they put the IV in, they feel great, right? Or it's just healthy. There's all kinds of fancy things. So out of curiosity, because marketing's everything, everything's marketing, I walk in, I grab a menu. I love that they call it a menu. And of course, not to my surprise, but something you should take notice of, the first thing on the menu is a $1,000 IV drip. And what's fascinating is this menu had maybe 15 or more different options in it, but the 1,000 was placed prominently on the front as a price anchor. And then most of the rest of them were $295 to $395 options. And it's obvious why they're doing this, right? But are you using this principle in your business? If not, why? Some other interesting things that is common with casinos that happened to Ashlee and I at Fontainebleau was they made her feel exclusive and full of status by giving her this members players card thing. And it was like fancy in a fancy package, and the person at the concierge desk when we handed it to her made a big deal about it, right? There's $15 worth of free drinks, there's $15 worth of free foods, or free food or drinks, but then $15 worth of free play. You could go to a slot machine and play for free for 15 bucks. Turns out these people aren't stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. This is like a foot in the door offer to give you some status or make you feel like you're part of a rewards program so that you can immediately lose a whole bunch of money but not feel as bad about it because you're chewing on a free hot dog as it happens. So my wife gets excited. She says, "Oh, I'm going to go use my player's card because I got $15 in free play." And what happened? Well, as much as I love Ashlee, I knew it would happen. She actually knew it would happen too, but we pretend like it's not about to happen. She sits down, plays the machine, puts a $100 bill in, and promptly loses the entire $100 bill. So what's the lesson here? Okay, we're not big gamblers, but we have fun and goof off with slots when we're goofing off. But the lesson is what are you selling that gives you an opportunity to sell more stuff? We call this a foot in the door offer at Warplan. A lot of small businesses don't emphasize their foot in the door offer enough. Maybe you're just selling the core thing that you do over and over and over, and people call your business or they email you and you give them a price. And you can survive doing that, but one way to ramp up your revenue and your profits and to get more traction and grow fast is to create a menu of foot in the door offers. What's something you can sell that creates more money on the back end. You know, these little players cards cost a certain amount of money, and they put it in this little sleeve. And then there's a script that's trained to the person that gives the member's card out, right? And a certain percentage of people that get those put it in the machine. And maybe 5 or 10% of people are really disciplined, and they just take the free play and the $15 in free food. But there's another percentage of people that are gonna slip a $100 bill into the machine. And through this whole choreographed experience, there's a whole bunch of profit that's made. So it doesn't matter what kind of business you have, but how can you implement this into what you're doing right now? So after Poppy's Steak and after looking at the menu of the IV place, we wandered over to the Venetian, which is really cool. They have these people that sing to you on these little riverboats, right? And of course you have to pay a gajillion dollars for a ride in the riverboat. And as I was signing up to pay our gajillion dollars for our ride in the riverboat, I noticed, you know, you could go with strangers and pay a little bit less, or you could pay more and it's just you. It's a private riverboat ride. Now, I didn't want to sit in this tiny boat and stare at two strangers awkwardly while I'm trying to talk to my wife. So I paid for the private one, and it was fascinating because they got money from us all kinds of different directions on the front end with this promise of exclusivity. And then of course the boat driver is this amazing woman who's half Mexican and half Italian, and she's singing in Italian and doing all this stuff. So halfway through the boat ride, they have a professional photographer snap a picture at the opportune moment. And then when we get off the boat ride, they treat us like royalty because they're all making a fortune from this. We walk in and of course we have the opportunity to buy the picture. Now I know you've seen all these things, but one thing that's really helpful if you want to grow your business is to start training your brain to learn via principles. Don't just look at what's happening. What's the principle of what's happening, or why something works? Because principles are transferable. The great thing about principles is they're like a Fibonacci sequence, and there's principles nested in principles nested in principles, kind of like those Russian nesting dolls, right? So there's principles of why solar systems and galaxies behave a certain way, and there's principles that are true from that have to do with why amoebas breed a certain way, right? And so with marketing, everything's connected to everything. That's why I say marketing's everything, everything is marketing. Principles for the Venetian, I mean, I guess there's several. Number one, focus on customer experience, right? I'm more likely to buy because I was treated so warm the whole time. There's also an unexpected upsell that I didn't know was coming. And not everyone will buy it, but I certainly wasn't offended that they offered it with the photo, right? These are principles you can bake into your flow to make more money. Another huge lesson of Vegas is gamification, just the category of gamifying things, players clubs and points and status and levels and gold badges and gold stars. They have the high ticket slots room. Their status is gamification. You're getting all these points so you can exchange it for a corn dog while you're losing $7,000 wasting your money, right? But it still sort of feels okay to do that. Well, with your business, if it's a local business, do you have a loyalty program or some sort of point system? Do you have a punch card? Are there levels to stuff? Do you have different titles for different types of customers? Are they the super VIP customers, the platinum club members, the diamond members? You can create these things to create economic value in your business. And you don't have to be cheesy with it. It could be something simple that's logical. Maybe if you are a maid service, for example, and you do a one-time cleaning, there's not a lot of gamification involved, right? But if someone cleans their house every 2 weeks, they're a diamond member. And just giving that label creates a little bit more status. And even if you didn't do anything extra, if you just started calling them that, it creates a little bit more magnetism with your brand and with them. Isn't that weird? Think about how you can insert gamification, levels, status, membership cohorts, right, into your thing. It'll help you stand out from the pack. So I hope this video challenges you to think differently, to realize marketing is everything, everything is marketing. I'm curious, where have you seen similar principles being played out? Was it in a tourist town? Was it at Disneyland? Is it in your hometown on Main Street? Are you doing these things? Where can you apply some of these principles? Or maybe you're stuck and you can see the value, but you're like, how do I actually connect it to my business? Let me know in the comments. You know, I love making content like this. I want to make it tangible for you so you can go get more money. That's why we're here. We love small entrepreneurial family business owners. That's why we do what we do. If you're not familiar with us and you want to learn more, go to warplan.com. We help entrepreneur families make a lot more money. And like and subscribe to the video. And until next time, take care and God bless.